I figured I would come on and say hello for today. My morning class got canceled, so this is where I normally would be during this time. But I figured I'd come on and do a little bit of a Mobility Monday with you all. Why not? And kind of walk you through what I would do for myself. Like a little mobility warm-up for the day. Nice, I think that looks pretty good. Awesome. All right, only thing you're gonna need today is I have my mat. Ooh, I'm gonna go grab a pillow because I think we're going to need it. Are we gonna need it today? You know, I think we can do our way without it. So yeah, let's need a mat today. And then also a chair. I just have this little stool right here. Any kind of chair will work. The higher it is, the more difficult the exercise. So that's something to keep in mind. But for some of y'all, you might be able to do it pretty easily on the floor as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you're seeing this right now, hello, good morning, Brent. Feel free to hop in and join in with me. Just gonna be doing a little bit of a full body warm up today, so it'll be good for all bodies, right? But modify it as you need and take as many breaks as you need. So mobility, we're working on increasing our strength and our full range of motion. So mobility movements a lot of times look like stretches because because as we've been talking about a lot on here, all movements are stretches in some way or form. But with different types of mobility techniques, we can really begin to, bulletproof our joints and build a lot of strength into our ranges, like in our hips and our shoulders, and just make ourselves a more well-rounded athlete, but also get the body in a good state that if you want to go run a marathon, if you want to go to the gym, if you want to go do some yoga in the park with friends, we're not going to hurt our bodies as easily, and we're going to be able to do a lot of those things a lot easier too. So yeah, a lot of wins for mobility. So let's go ahead and get started for today. I'm going to be starting with one of my favorite movements that I've been loving. It's the knees over toes split squat by the knees over toes guy on Instagram. If you haven't followed him, you should. He is amazing. So I'm going to start with the chair. For some of us, we might be able to start with these on the ground, but I think for most people, it works a lot better on the chair. Oh, lovely. Every time I film, I swear there is always a lawnmower. But it is what it is. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay in my headphones. All right, so I'm gonna bring one foot to the chair here. Toes are facing straight ahead, and so are my back toes. Right away, I might start to feel this stretch in my back hip. This is my hip in extension. This is my hip in flexion in the front here. And I can just begin to rock forward, keeping everything nice and straight into this front ankle. Let me kind of show you, scoot back what that looks like. So I wanna see if I can get this knee pretty far over the toe. And if that means I need to lift this heel off the ground, let's go ahead and do that. So I pretty much do these every time I run, almost in every workout, because I've been struggling a lot with my own ankle mobility, and I've had a lot of ankle injuries. I was a runner for a really long time. So yeah, let's do around 10 of these, and then I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides. Hello, good morning. Hello. Come in and join if you would like. All right, so doing the other side now. I'm bringing the right foot to the chair, and we're just gonna be rocking forward, bringing that knee over the toe. If you need to hold on to something like I'm doing, that's amazing. Really just starting to get the movement into the ankle and also into this back hip as we have it in extension. What do y'all think? Hello, good to see you. Hopefully you had a lovely weekend. All right, so we're just gonna be rocking from heel to toe here. You can raise that heel a little bit, and then I can kind of show you that looks like on the floor. We are going for having this nice split stance, if I can grab it here, and then getting this knee all the way over the toe. You can see how I'm lifting the heel a little bit. Ideally, we're able to bring our calf right in close to our hamstring here. So that's why I like to do it on the chair, because for most of us, this is quite the movement. I'll go ahead and even out the sides for me here. This one is a great one that I like to add into my routine before I run. It's really great for the ankles, and also you do really use your legs and the hip extension, your hips here. I find that my sprinting gets a lot better when I train the hip extension or running fast. I will not say I'm a very good sprinter, but you know, it helps me with my speed a little bit. Nice. All right. Hopefully that one went okay for everybody. Starting to feel nice and warm through our ankles and getting a little bit more warm through our hips. Okay. The next movement I've been loving lately that I love for beginners as well is you're going to go ahead and hop up next to your wall. You know, we're going to be getting into a squat stance here, so toes can be facing straight ahead. They can also open out a little bit, which is my preferred. And then you're going to sit down into your lowest squat that you can right now. Notice how much easier it is to keep the spine nice and straight. From here, you can raise one hand, you can raise the other hand, you can raise both hands. Think about keeping that lower back, keeping all of that spine on the wall. And finding your breath here. You can also bring the hands behind here. Find a couple different stretches here this morning, thinking about driving those knees out, keeping a good firm foundation into the feet. Awesome. You can hang out here for as long as you like in this position. I really do recommend this kind of squat for those that maybe are just starting with yoga, or the yoga squat isn't accessible, so this is more what it looks like. The wall squat allows you to feel what that full deep squat looks like, it feels like, without you know, putting your body in a position that it might not be ready for. So yeah, definitely give that one a try. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is giving some movement into the ankles. We're going to be on the feet. So go ahead and get yourself down onto the ground. I'm always here for ankle work. So I'm going to come up to my toes, and then I'm just going to be doing a nice little line walk. See if I can bring one foot in front of the other, walking a nice little line, and then you can swing around. You can roll the foot through, or you can step it through, and use whatever assistance with your hands as you need. Woo. Nice. Great one for the morning. I'm going to do one walk across. Nice. Okay, great. Hello, hello. Good morning. Cecito. I think I don't want to get your name wrong. I'm not so good with names right now. I think it was Edgar, if you're still here. Okay, awesome. So now the ankles are pretty warm. We have done some work into the hips as well. So let's go ahead and keep the next one on the floor. We got this trusty wall for assistance here, so let's use it. I love using the wall as a tool. It really helps us keep the spine nice and straight, which is something that is really hard, especially when we're just beginning. That's like what we always want in movement and also in yoga. So, okay, so you're gonna sit up nice and tall here. Allow your spine to be supported by the wall. And now we can see if we can lean forward a little bit, still keeping the wall on our lower back. And take a couple breaths here. The knees can be nice and bent in this position, so for some of us, keeping these legs straight can be quite taxing on the body. So if we bend the knees a little bit, and that allows us to keep the spine lots of options here. Hands can also come behind. You need a little bit of assistance that way as well. Okay. So I'm just going to be walking my hands out, just taking a couple breaths here. If your legs are nice and straight, let's think about keeping the toes nice and flexed and also engaging through our quads. They kind of push down to the mat and keep our knees nice and protected, and also our hamstrings are doing a lot of stretching here. So if we can activate that opposing muscle, we can get a little bit more into the hamstrings. Nice, guys. Couple more breaths here. And let's go ahead and walk things back. Okay, let's start to lengthen through the side body a little bit more. So I'm going to bring the hands back behind you. I'm just going to take a couple of gentle leans, keeping the spine as straight as I can, as long as I can, even when I go to the sides. Seeing if those elbows touch somewhere close to the ground. And when I'm nice and warmed up, they will, but it's probably not going to happen for me right now. So I think it's really important to not force it, right? Even though I have that range, I've done a lot of training in the past couple days. And if I just go ahead and make my elbow come to the ground, which I can do, it's not always super kind to the body. She's not ready yet, not a little awake yet. All right, nice, guys. Amazing. And now I might be able to, oh look at that, just with a couple of them, that can happen for us. And go ahead and lower everything back down. All right, we're gonna continue with that inner thigh work by bringing the soles of the feet together and doing a couple butterflies with some funness at the end here. So we're gonna kind of increase the difficulty of the normal butterfly. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. Once again, hands can be around feet, but they can also come behind us if that allows us to keep our shoulders nice and rolled back and our spine nice and straight. So there's a lot of options here. Here, here. Your hands can also come around the ankles. I just want you to find the version of this that works the best for your body today. It doesn't matter what my shape looks like. If it doesn't feel good in your body, it's probably not the right shape for you today, right? All right. So roll those shoulders back and down, thinking about elongating through that spine. That is like the theme of today, apparently. And then I just want you to pick up the knees towards your body and bring it down closer to the ground. Inhaling, bring those knees up. Exhaling, bring them down. Oh, I can't read your comment. I'm gonna go look at it. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry about the gardeners. Can you hear me all right? I can't avoid them in this house, I swear to God. I find a place where I think they're not gonna happen and it's a nice quiet morning, and then they come. I am wearing headphones today, so hopefully you can hear me. Let me know. So we're gonna be lowering, lifting, lowering, and lifting. And now I'm gonna bring the hands to the floor to allow me to assist here. Just gonna see if I can kick one of the legs out and back in, kick the other leg out and back in, and you can also try this with no hands. And let's go for around 5 on each side. Ooh, really getting all those little hamstrings and inner thigh muscles nice and awake here this morning. I guess this is what I wanted. Y'all are just flowing with me because I don't really have a plan here, but this is kind of what I would walk my own body through depending on how I was feeling. So I'm pretty tight today. I can feel it. So this is an example of what I would do for recovery for sure. Okay, so hopefully the hips are feeling a little bit better now. Let's take that into a nice stretch. So again, sit up nice and tall. Hands can be behind you or around the feet or ankles. And then exhale, fold forward. Think about bending at the stomach, because if we're bending at the head and rounding forward, we're really missing out on the lower back stretch that we can be getting here, and then we can come forward a little bit. Finding our breath. Try and not be mad at these guys for doing yard work. It's just their about driving those knees a little bit closer towards the floor. And finding our breath here. You notice that it might feel a little bit nicer in the stretch after we've done some of the active moves, and that's kind of how my classes go. Awesome. Okay, I think they've stopped for a second, so that would be lovely for all of us, right? Okay, so now lower. The inner thighs are nice and stretched. I like to come onto the feet, so bring yourself to your knees. I'm just gonna sink my hips back, coming onto my toes here, finding a nice stretch into the backs of the feet. I was doing some running this weekend, and I tend to do barefoot running, so man, the feet feel it. And it's like I'm not running barefoot, but the shoes are just really flat and don't really give you much support, so you have to like use your feet musculature. So man, yeah, I feel it. And then inhale, extend those arms overhead. Then you can take a nice side body stretch by planting through the left palm, extending through the right. And then over towards the other side. Woo. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm gonna come onto the tops of the feet. Yeah, so I'm gonna untuck those toes. I'm gonna stay in this position for a second. Let's get a nice stretch through the tops of the feet, which we don't always do. So you can just try with one foot here, picking up one leg at a time. You're already gonna feel that top of the foot stretch. Or you can try picking up both. Be really gentle. If you haven't tried this before, they don't have to go very high. You can come up and down, and we can just stick with one. Oof. Yeah, that feels nice. Don't forget to breathe here. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna come back up to a standing position. We've done a good amount into the lower body today, but let's do a little bit more into the upper because it always needs it too. Okay, so I'm gonna start my day, and a lot of my days I do start off with some kind of cars. So one of my favorites has been my scapular cars. So hands are gonna come out in front of us here. And I just want you to push them forward, which is protract. Elevate them towards your ears. Draw them down, back, and draw them down. Protract, just moving at our shoulder blades here. Elevate, retract, depress. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. And then you can try it the other direction here. Retract, elevate, protract, lower. There you go. Take a couple circles. Really does help to look at yourself in the camera here to see what you're doing. Whew. And then go ahead and release. I like to take some shrugs with the shoulders and some movements forward and backward. It always feels really good. Okay, awesome. One of my favorite upper body movements lately has been this one. So first I'm going to bring the hands out in front. I want you to spread through the palms, get a nice wrist stretch going here, and then you can corkscrew those wrists around, doing a little bit of the same. And then we're going to bring those hands back behind us here, keeping those shoulder blades down and away from the ears. Hopefully you can kind of see what that looks like, and just enjoy this here. Think about bringing the palms back as far as they can, breathing here. It's quite a stretch for the upper body, just as it is to bring those hands behind. Awesome. So if you feel really comfortable here, we can start to raise one arm, still thinking about bringing that arm behind us. Raise the other arm, and now we can kind of come into this little Y position. Ooh, still thinking about actively drawing those arms back, shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we can come back down to the T, and then bending to the elbows, we can come into this W, still thinking about pulling those arms back behind it. And then L, I like to say L, bring those arms a little bit closer into the chest. Keep drawing everything back behind. Woo. And go ahead and release it down. Okay, so that was a pretty good active movement. I like to follow that up with a stretch. So you can either come into a wide-legged stance here, or you can come into a normal forward fold. But either way, I'm gonna clasp my arms behind my back here. Think about rolling my shoulders down and back behind me. And then I'm going to bow forward into this nice fold here with the clasp of the hands. Ooh, releasing into the upper back. Feel free to add any movement into the legs that feel good here. You can bend to one side. You can bend to the other side. But more importantly, just bring the breath. All right, on your next exhale, you can allow those hands to float down to the ground here. I'm gonna get the hair out of the way so you can actually see what we're doing in this position. Awesome, let me know if you're following along with me today. And then I'm just gonna be walking my hands to one side, bending into my knee, and walking my hands to the other side, bending into the other knee. You can have the hands on the ground here, or you can lift them. Ooh. Breathing here. Nice, guys. This one is a little bit challenging, but I think it's a little bit fun too. Awesome. Keep the breath. All right. I want you to walk those hands back to a nice place of stillness here. And then we're gonna inhale, bring those hands to the hips and come back up to our nice standing position. So it wouldn't be a normal day for me if I didn't include horse stance as a part of my morning routine. So let's do that one. It's been a favorite of mine. So feet, they're gonna turn out. They can turn fully out, or they can just come, a little bit like this number, which tends to be how mine look. So you can look at your feet, make sure everything looks nice and even. And then before we begin, you're gonna think about tucking your hips under and forward. Because if we're in this position, more of an anterior tilt, we're really not gonna feel as much of a stretch where we want it. So think about tilting those hips forward here. Okay, perfect. So tilt those hips forward, and then you're gonna come into your nice horse stance or goddess squat. Ellie! Sorry, guys. I got a dog out here with me. And I just want you to breathe. Think about pushing into the sides of the feet, driving those knees out. Maybe you can sink a little bit deeper here. Always an option to come up onto the toes. Whew. And come into this nice little squat. So maybe we're in a more like this here. That's totally all right. The more you do this one, it's crazy. You start right here, and then you can just get lower and lower every day. So definitely be one I would throw in there. And then let's come into a nice squat. So go ahead and walk those feet in. I think our hips are nice and warm for it now. And we're going to sit down and come into this nice little yoga squat. Always option to have the heels nice and lifted. I'm so glad you tried that variation though. Good job for trying it out. Yeah, being on the toes in any position is like a lot of strength work. You feel it a lot in the ankles. So good on you for giving that one a go. Okay, awesome. So now we're gonna come into this nice squat. We can just start by going from one side to another, warming up through the hips. Don't forget your breath here. Awesome. Oof. And now let's see if we can come into our squat. Hands are gonna come on the inside. Option to keep those hands behind you is always here. If you notice if your spine is rounding, we're not getting the most out of this pose that we could. So having the hands behind, or if you have like a little chair, using your chair to hold you up is a great option because we want to keep the spine nice and supported. You can also come onto your toes and be in this squat as well. So find that one that works best for you today. I'm gonna bring my hands inside here, ground down into the sides of my feet, and think about chest being nice and tall. Last couple breaths here. Good job today, guys. And now you can stay here in this nice squat, or we can start opening one arm towards the sky, thinking about driving our knees out still. Kind of like the one we did on the wall just now. Last one if you wanted to try. Awesome, and then I'm gonna come down to the ground, allow myself to come down here. And I'm gonna be going into a nice child's pose. Sorry this one isn't like the nicest flow today, mostly because this is more or less what just like a everyday routine looks like for me. And sometimes I make them as a flow, and often I'm just like, no, I gotta get on to the next thing to do. Guys, I was getting a call there. Okay, so last movement, one of the last movements we're gonna do today is gonna be for the upper body. Just wanted to throw something in there. So we're gonna come to our knees here into a nice tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips here. And then I'm gonna kick my toes off to the right side of my mat, extend through my left leg. So now I'm in this nice half plank. My left toes and left side of the foot are on the floor. I'm just gonna extend through my left arm. You can think about driving the hips forward to open, maybe letting that head go back. Breathing into your side body here. Cooling things down. Bringing the breath. Awesome. So now we're gonna do a little challenge pose here. You got this. So see if we can stay on that right knee. Keep that right hand on the ground. And see if I can grab, not even I can do it today, that left foot with my left hand and give it a nice hug in towards the body here, finding a nice stretch into that left thigh. And go ahead and release. We're gonna take that over towards the other side. So I'm gonna be kicking out through my left toes here off to the left side of the mat. Spinning. Oh wait, which one did I do on this side? I already forgot. Was that my right foot? Okay. Spinning the right toes flat, and then opening the right arm up to the sky. Thinking about pushing those hips forward and breathing. You can look to your right hand here. And go ahead and take your way back down. Awesome. Okay, so last movement here, we're gonna be coming, I forgot that other variation we took. So left hand on the ground, see if you can grab that right foot back behind you and give it a nice quad stretch here. Nice, I almost forgot. Awesome, guys. I think that's where I'm gonna leave things today. Let me know if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for coming today. Okay. Sorry guys, got a little calendar invitation, but thanks you so much for joining me today. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tune out for today. This would be an example of what I would do for a little mobility break throughout the day, kind of just to check in with all of my body, seeing what it needed. Probably would throw in a little bit more stuff for my spine and my neck here, but I want to keep this short. But yeah, this just gives you an idea of what that will look like for me. Stay tuned. This week and later today, I will have my live class schedule up. So if you're looking for more things like this and more one-on-one feedback from me about what you're doing, be sure to check those out for a lot more moves and stretches and yoga and all of the above. All right, guys, Have a lovely Monday. Yeah, thank you. I wish you a good day too. I know that you've cooked something wonderful over there. Your food always looks so good on your page. All right. Take care, Edgar. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day. Thanks for moving with me. And that is all I have for today. So hopefully your body's feeling good. I would love to know below. I'm going to save this for later if you didn't catch it live. All right.